Bam. Okay. What's up? Angron's calmest son here, and today I figured since I've upgraded the setup a little bit, we could treat ourselves a little bit to a tier list. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Connor, I've seen tier list upon tier list upon tier list, and here's my rebuttal. You haven't seen my tier list, so you now are obligated to watch this whole entire video and like and subscribe. No, I'm kidding. But I figured we could do this. We're going to rate the Primarchs because I know the meta. I know it's going to get me all these giganormous views. We're going to rate the Primarchs. We're going to scale them as per usual. We're going to just do it on which ones I vibe with the most. I was going to do which ones I like in lore, but that was ending up to be too confusing. So instead we're just going to be, who do I vibe with the most? Let's do Korax is going in F automatically, and I know what you're thinking. Connor, have you even read anything about Raven Guard? No. But Connor, isn't this basically hypocritical about what you like to espouse on your channel about how you should always read and you shouldn't just read excerpts and listen to other YouTubers. You should kind of form your own opinions and read the books. Yes, it's hypocritical, but let me offer you this even more intellectual rebuttal. I think he's lame. Thank you. Thank you for that. Listen, I'm a world eater, man. I go on principle. I go based off vibes. When I do anything in life, it's off vibes. Like right now, Fulgrim, A tier. I read Fulgrim. Fulgrim's a great book. I've read the Fabius Bile trilogy. I've read a lot of stuff involving the Emperor's Children, and quite frankly, he's peak. Fulgrim's peak. I honestly enjoy a lot of Emperor's Children stuff, and Fulgrim himself too. He's a goofy guy, whether this is in 30k or 40k. He is such a goofball. Let's go with, who are we doing next? Oh my god. Angron's S tier. And I know what you're thinking. Why wouldn't the World Eater put Angron in S tier? But there's a really easy explanation as to why I put him in S tier. He's the GOAT. He's the best. If Angron has no fans, I'm dead. If Angron has one loyal son, it's me. If he has no loyal sons, again, I'm dead. I'm too old to be put into like the gene seed and be made into a space marine. But if I could do it, I would do it, and I would be a world eater. I would do the nails. That's how dedicated I wouldn't actually do the nails. I would not put the butcher's nails in me, but I would. If I was in setting, I would be a world eater, hands down, or I would die within the first 10 seconds of being in any world in 40k, whether that was like a little agri world or like a friggin' manufacturer. I'd be dying 10 seconds flat. So let's see, who are we feeling? Gilliman? So here's what I'm going to say. In 30k, he would be a C tier character because he's just kind of a little nerd gremlin dude who's sort of playing Crusader Kings 3 on his computer. But 40k Gilliman is sort of in between A and B, so I'm going to put him at B. I think he's gone through a lot of character development and a lot of character building. And I know a lot of people like to meme about how the Ultra Smurfs have this super god tier like plot armor because they're like the poster boys of 40k, but they have also, shared their fare of suffering, if you will. They've definitely gone through some leaps and bounds, trials and tribulations to sort of puff them up, in my view, to make them definitely more appealing. They were boring for sure, I would say, but as the years went on, they definitely got way more entertaining. Let's see. Perturabo's going in E tier, and I know that's kind of me talking out of my ass again, but I'm going to tell you why. Perturabo, I know next to nothing about, again, except for excerpts and all this other nonsense. So right now, E isn't indicative of it being bad. E is, I don't know enough about you, and you're just kind of in like this unknown territory right now. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Just want to make that super clear. Ferris is going in C tier because, again, I like Ferris. I think the concept of the Iron Hands is really cool. But the whole, like, self-hypocrisy and self-reliance until it's almost lethal is really cool thematically when it comes to novels. But everything else, he's just kind of lame. Like, because he doesn't have enough stories to flesh him out even more because he's dead now. The most notable thing about Ferris Menace, if you remember him, is that he's dead. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. Vulcan goes in B tier only because of memes, I'm going to be real. I think he's just a silly, goofy guy, and I know he beats the shit out of Kurz. So he's going to go in B tier because I just think that's, like, hysterical to me. Obviously, lore implications aside and his insanity and perpetualness, I think he fits in B tier. I don't think I would ever put any... I don't think I'd put Vulcan below maybe C tier. And I don't think anyone else in the community really would either, even though... I don't know if Salamander stories are good because I haven't read one, but I would go on a limb and say people probably like Salamanders because they're probably way more humanized than any of the other factions or legions, if you will. Alright. Ooh. I'm saving Sanguinius for last, and you guys will find out why. Lionel L. Johnson is an S tier because I am a Dark Angels fanboy, but besides that as well, Lionel L. Johnson is really cool because I think he does the Alpha Legion better than the Alpha Legion does themselves. I love mystery and espionage and all this nonsense, but I really enjoy the secrets upon secrets and inner circle kind of setup and hierarchical structure of the Dark Angels. And I just think they do the whole secrecy thing better than Alpharius. And speaking of Alpharius, he's going in F tier. I don't like the Alpha Legion. I know some people are gonna just like dislike the video just from hearing that, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's not like I hate any Primarch or any Legion here, like in a real capacity where I actually will dislike you for liking them. I'm never gonna do that because that's super lame. But Alpharius is just so he's just so boring to me, and it's like I can't give you like an educational or like really intellectual reason as to why I feel this way. I legitimately can't, and he's bald. You know, unfortunately, it just doesn't do anything for him. Logar would be an F because he's bald, but he's also... I'm going to move him to A tier because I really like Logar because I've been reading the... what was it? The World Eaters... not World Eaters. Whoa. Freudian slip right there. The Word Bearers Omnibus, and that has been very, very good. Marduk has been really, really good. Jarlek has been really cool. I love, you get to see a lot of how post, heresy word bearers have basically won the setting, if you will, and how they just function within their own societal, hierarchies in the Legion as well, and they have their own traditions, and they really seem like a loyalist Legion, but obviously they're heretical, but like they still uphold a lot of their traditions. They've just been like perverted to be chaotic. So really cool, and I don't think a lot of people give Logar the credit he deserves. My poor boy. Horus goes in F tier because he's bald. I'm just kidding. So again, Horus is kind of like Gilliman. So 30k pre-corruption in lore, he'd probably be at S tier. But for my enjoyability, for the first 3 books, like, Horus Rising, Galaxy in Flames, and then False Gods and all that, I know that wasn't in order, but he would probably be in, like, A tier, right? Really cool character. Really fun to see him devolve into, like, chaos, even though I think it was really dumb how he got corrupted, I'll be completely honest there. But then post all that, and then we get into the heresy, he's kind of hovering into, like, the D and C area, but I'm going to put him in C. Because he sort of becomes like the Emperor in the sense that he's kind of devolves into less of a character, more of a plot device to move the setting forwards. And that's not bad, but I kind of lose interest in him when it becomes that. Like, I love the Emperor and the idea of this one human just being insanely strong, but as a character, it just doesn't mesh with me well, and the plot device obviously makes sense, but then I lose my own investment in the character and all that nonsense. Mortarion, because I guess I say his name wrong. A tier. Love Mortarion. Love me Death Guard. Simple as. He is awesome. He's great. Barry Dagger's great. His Primarch book is really good. Flight of the Eisenstein, I think, was really, really good, if that was the 3rd book. Whichever one it was with... oh my god, why am I forgetting all these characters now? Was it Garo? Nathaniel Garo. Whichever books he was in the really earlier one. Death Guard are just really cool, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of, like, body horror, but Nurgle is cool, and just honestly, just Mortarion appeals to me because I think thematically people really underestimate the complexity of his character, because he really is simple, but he also does have those, undertones of being super, like, in depth, and you could obviously see some narrative themes being seen in his character that make him sort of more appealing as you try to unravel the layers. Like, like what has onions have layers. Mortarian's a little stinky son of a bitch. He's got layers. So, I don't think a lot of people give him credit, is what I'm trying to say. I think he's a really cool character, and just, Curse himself is a D, but if we were just doing Night Lords too, Night Lords would be at A. Curse himself, I'm just not a big fan of, because I like the duality between him and Sanguinius and how they both had the same gift/curse, but obviously Sanguinius knew that the future wasn't set in stone, and Curse just chose not to believe that and would just perpetually sabotage himself. And I think tragic characters are obviously really enticing to me, because that's just who I am. I like when characters suffer, because I think it builds character. But Curse is just like not a character I can gel with, like, in a way. Like, I know, he's basically Batman, but, the Night Haunter doesn't fit with me. I'm sorry. It's just not how it goes. Magnus, F tier, because I'm a world eater, and I'm tired of these dusty nerds even thinking they're on the same level as those who invest in a strength build when they play Elden Ring. No, I'm playing. Magnus would be at C. I think I like magic, and I think he's really cool, but the whole Magnus did nothing wrong is that he did do nothing wrong, because he was told to do nothing, and he fucked that up. But, it's okay. He's alright. He's just okay in my mind. The Khan is cool. A tier. I like the memes where he's in Kamara, and he's basically, like, Genghis Khan, and like every Dark Eldar can trace their lineage back to the Khan. I like those memes. I think they're funny as shit. But he's also a really cool character. Like, obviously, if you've seen any excerpts from Warhawk when he's fighting Mortarion or Mortarion, and he has his little quip with Fulgrim where Fulgrim says, "Oh, I hear you do strange things to your vehicles," and the Khan basically says, "I heard you do strange things to your warriors," which is so crazy to think, because like Fulgrim's like sons basically have super cancer, and like the Khan's like, "Yeah, I heard you're trying to help your sons. You loser, you little piece of shit." And like I think that's just like insane to think about. Russ is at D, and here's why. Now, again, I'm talking out of my ass. I haven't read a Space Wolf book, but I've read books with Space Wolves in them. But I think I saw an opinion, alright? This isn't mine, but I do heavily agree with it. Somebody, on Reddit was talking about Space Wolves and being how they're portrayed. And they said they have this sort of thing where, yes, when they're portrayed in their own books, they're these jovial, like, hearty, ha ha ha, idiot barbarians, basically like loyalist world eaters. But I agree, and then when they're portrayed in other books, you can see the actual full capabilities of a space wolf, and they're not these like pushovers and like furry memes and all this nonsense. They are real deal warriors who have their own warrior culture, excluding the Terran customs and fully embracing Fenris and all this. And you want a really good example of that? This book right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. You would get a rune priest, and honestly, it really made me kind of enjoy the Space Wolf himself in this book. It was really cool, and it kind of gives you a way better glance as to who they are. Not only as characters, but as, the Legion and all that nonsense. So, it was cool. Dorn. Man. This is a hard one. Dorn is going to go on the E tier because I don't know enough about him, but memes and everything, if we're talking TTS and all this, Dorn's funny, but Dorn's obviously just very analytically minded, and it makes sense why people wouldn't find him entertaining, so I get that. Sanguinius is not going to be an S. He's probably going to be in D tier or F tier even. Personally, I just don't really enjoy him. I think he's just kind of like, have I read any Blood Angel stuff? No. So you know what? I'll put him in E tier. I know no one's going to be happy with that, but listen, I'm not the biggest Blood Angel guy. No, I haven't read Devastation of Baal. No, I haven't read Dante. No, I haven't read any of this. Angel Terminatus. Haven't read any of it. The End and the Death. I know Sanguinius dies, and quite frankly, I am not affected by this. Maybe a little heretical right there. I don't really care, but my opinions on this are going to change at some point. I'm sure I'll move some of these around in a future video. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the World Eater tier list right here. The only Primarch tier list you need to watch ever. And hopefully you guys enjoy this. You can roast my placements, obviously. I don't care. You can call me out and just call me a fool for this horrendous placement. But this is my placement, so it means the world to me. But yeah, that was the tier list. If you guys like this, I'm glad you did, because this is totally new to me with all this setup and stuff. But yeah, this was fun, and I will see you guys later.